In every classroom, teachers juggle multiple ideas as they grapple with lesson design. Teachers want students to engage in experiences that are purposeful and engaging. Teachers want students to collaborate and think in many ways that vary in their levels of cognitive rigor. Teachers want students to read and write often, and they want students to talk and exchange ideas with each other, because learning is a personal experience that best develops in a social context. So, what does this mean for science and social studies? Let's begin by thinking of the end goals for each of these contents. In the end, we want students to use information that they've learned to explain big ideas. We also know that there are particular ways of thinking that are demonstrated by historians, biologists, economists, geologists, geographers, and citizens. We want students to demonstrate the thinking of scientists and social scientists, and that's why we engage students in the subjects of science and social studies. Being able to demonstrate these discipline-specific ways of thinking prepares students to participate as informed citizens in our society. Still, how do we get there? This is where literacy jumps into the game. We often look at reading as a separate subject. During reading, teachers focus instruction on the skills and processes that effective readers apply before, during, and after they engage with text. Students explore text features and examine the different ways that text is organized to better understand how ideas flow. Students explore thinking strategies so they can comprehend. While students may practice and fine-tune skills in reading, these reading and thinking skills are transferred and reapplied within other subjects, like science and social studies. Let's demonstrate using a metaphor. When a soccer player goes to practice, the coach develops drills and provides coaching in the focused skills of soccer. Heading the ball, trapping the ball, moving around the field, passing, shooting, and defending. In practice, these skills are finely tuned so players can be effective when they play the actual game itself. This same idea might be applied when a teacher considers the transfer and reapplication of reading and thinking skills in science and social studies. In these content areas, students must acquire knowledge and then use that knowledge to demonstrate discipline-specific thinking in science and social studies. To acquire knowledge, students engage with various texts. Those texts are articles, short passages, videos, charts, maps, graphs, experiments, simulations, and so much more. While students may practice reading and thinking skills during reading, students use them flexibly with multiple texts and experiences in science and social studies. Content areas such as science and social studies require students to employ all of their reading and thinking skills. This is where students actually play the game of literacy and bring purpose to all of that practice from reading class. Let's break down these skills into some smaller groups. First, let's accept that reading comprehension depends significantly on a student's ability to determine when and how to apply thinking skills. As we support readers and thinkers, we might say that a worthy goal involves students applying foundational thinking skills to comprehend. These foundational skills include determining the meaning of domain-specific words as they're being used, making and adjusting predictions, clarifying when ideas don't make sense, visualizing, asking questions, identifying central ideas and supporting information, and in the end, being able to determine importance and summarize. These foundational skills are examined with intentionality in reading. Effective application of these skills takes place in two ways. One form of effective application involves students making personal decisions around using skills with intentionality and purpose to better understand the texts and active experiences that they're given in science and social studies. Another form of effective application involves using skills as part of uniquely designed thinking routines. Quality examples of thinking routines include the question formulation technique and any of the ideas within Harvard University's groundbreaking book, Making Thinking Visible. Second, we know that reading comprehension involves looking at the craft and structure of ideas that exist within texts. This requires students to analyze the text and recognize relationships among different portions of text. When appropriate, students should be able to analyze a text and identify the steps in a process or recognize sequence in the text ideas. Students should be able to think about relationships that exist between topics or ideas, such as identifying cause and effect, problems and solutions, fact and opinion, or when an author is comparing and contrasting. Last, We want students to look at the big picture of text and make inferences about themes or recognize when a text is demonstrating different perspectives or point of view. Third, students engage with multiple texts and active experiences, and the reason we do this is so they can integrate and relate the ideas across texts and experiences. When students engage with multiple texts and experiences, every new source provides additional information. We want students to pull together all of their learning, reflect on their growing understanding, and continue to ask lingering questions as part of a constant pursuit of understanding. We want students to make claims about their ideas and use evidence to support their claims. Evidence doesn't come from one text. It comes from all of their texts and experiences. We want students to see that ideas come from multiple texts and active experiences and build the belief that good thinkers connect the ideas that exist across texts. Think about it. Whenever you as an adult want to learn about something, you don't use one source. You use many. Last, it's an educational imperative that we help students see the relevance for their learning. The thinking skills and processes that students use with multiple texts and active experiences are the same skills and processes that we hope adults use as they seek answers to everyday questions. Reading is thinking, and thinking involves the skillful use of mental energy to understand and make sense of our world. This is how people learn in the real world. While the cohesive application of these skills supports academic achievement, their application also prepares students to be successful citizens in our society. In the end, thinking matters, and our goal in education is to support students as they develop in their abilities to skillfully monitor and understand personal thinking habits.